my NXT recap for this Tuesday that passed for February 17th, 2026. And a few things probably wanted to go ahead and go over. Um, Try to make sure I'm going to go segment to segment per se. It was Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice. Very, very technical matchup. Kind of have a little history from the past, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, and Lola Vice is probably somewhat new, not very new, but very somewhat not familiar with me. I'm very not familiar with. But at the end of the day, her and Kalani Jordan had ended up a pretty decent style matchup. To which unfortunately Lola Vice had a prior hand injury that happened with her, and with that, Kalani Jordan did took advantage again. Kalani is running as a heel now, so it does fit into her character to do heelish stuff. Like I said, to go ahead and go for the already injured hand. So again, Kalani Jordan took advantage of it. Made Lola Vice end up tapping out via, I think it was more of a variation of her arm, but more of her hand was tortured per se. So she had pulled through on that. Somewhat of a Kalani Jordan fan. I'm not gonna lie, she is very one of the most athletic young wrestlers that was on the NXT roster. I've been kind of following her for the last 2 years per se, especially for when she had won the I believe it was the TNA Women's Championship and was on the TNA side at that point. Very interesting storyline again per se with her. We'll see where they go, where they advance more with her at that point. So we'll have more to go ahead and view. And then give me a hot second because we do have the tag team matchup that happened. The tag team matchup that did happen. So give me 1 second. So I do believe it was. I do believe the tag team of what's the name of them? Um, it's like a little boy bandish little group, but they're actually pretty somewhat entertaining now. They've been the tag team champions, I believe, for the last NXT tag team champions for the last 4 months. So, but they ended up defending their tag team championship, and uh, with the following how's it going? Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We had the little segment that they wanted to introduce between Joe Hendry and of course Ricky Saint. So they're going to have their match at Vengeance on March 7th for at Vengeance. So be in tune for that. That's for the NXT Championship. Joe Henry will defend his NXT Championship against Ricky Saint. So it will be an entertaining matchup. Honestly, Ricky and Henry. So we have up to maybe 2 weeks to go ahead and um to view for that. So just make sure to be in tune. Like I said, for Avengers, I do believe it's on the Peacock app, so it will be featured on that March 7th. And then it was, oh yeah, Tony D'Angelo facing one of the members of Dark State. And Tony D'Angelo did. Tony D'Angelo. He ended up beating up. Give me one second. So James had ended up losing to Tony D'Angelo, but Deion Lennox ended up trying to jump Tony D'Angelo at the end, which that was the wrong decision. They should have had all the members out there because Tony D'Angelo was on a mission, and he almost ended up breaking Deion Lennox's ankle improperly, but James ended up pulling him out the way. So again, you're going to see Tony against a lot of the Dark State members again. Four of them. So give him the separate weeks, like I said, for him to go ahead and pick his time. I do believe that's going to happen very soon. Might come to a head at Vengeance to see who. Maybe him against Deion Lennox, and then in the weeks leading up, he'll just take out every member at that point. So yeah, they had ended up pulling like them away. Sean Spears. It was a number one contenders matchup. Okay. Yeah. Fred Baylor had beat Sean Spears. Okay, so I'm still trying to follow, like I said, the Vanity Project. It's still a new group to me. Still a new group to me. They ended up winning the match against Sean Spears and against I think it's a eight. I think it feels like an 8-man tag team matchup, but nice matchup. Because then we ended up having So Ruka. She ended up going on ahead and having a face-to-face segment. Hey there, make sure you subscribe. So JC Jane and So Ruka, they're gonna end up battling each other at Vengeance Day, and it was a pretty setback thing. Casey Jane and her group had ended up trying to go ahead and jumping So Ruka, but Zari ended up coming out. Thing to be honestly to see, so she ended up taking out literally the whole thing, whole group. Laney, man, I actually like Zari. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I ended up wanting to see her with a. I do want to end up seeing her with a women's NXT championship run. To be honest with you, I think if Soul does win, I think it does make it interesting to go ahead and see those two as a friendly matchup. Maybe Zari, maybe turn heel. Who knows? Honestly, I wouldn't be against it. To be honest, in the wrestling script. So there's Zara Ruga, I'm guessing, like I said, she's going to end up having her. Okay, and then there was a number one contenders matchup between. Okay, from Night. Okay. Alien Flair against Knight, number one contender for the Speed Championship to be crowned. So they're gonna have they didn't get a chance to crown they unfortunately ran out of time, unfortunately, for the 3 minutes that there was. So in the last 3 seconds, he ended up hitting a full Nelson suplex off the top of the turnbuckle, which winner, which now we're gonna get next week. There's going to be a triple threat match now. Okay, that's not bad. And it's gonna be 7 minutes too, so that's the other decent thing about it too. And Shiloh versus Ethan Page for the North American Championship. Okay, Shiloh has gotten a major push since heading onto the scene, especially being in the NXT Championship match. But Shi Ethan Page ended up hitting him with a twist on the outside pavement, and then he ended up dragging him in the ring to hit another man. And he did another twisted grin in the ring for the 1, 2, 3. So he retains his NXT championship, which ended up backfiring because Miles had ended up, because I guess he's been Ethan Page is always a true troll. He ended up trolling Miles so much that he's ended up having him to go ahead and show that darker side of him per se. So I guess and then he and Miles ended up getting Ethan to admit to giving him a NXT North American Championship, which Miles wants his first title, which Ethan dared. Ethan dared him to go ahead and step on his ankle that was wrapped in a chair, and man, did he deliver. So next week it will be Miles against Ethan Page for the NXT North American Championship. That will be one to go ahead and look forward to. So that is going to be another championship matchup that will go ahead and have aspirations. So it's Speed Championship Triple Threat next week, and then there's also the NXT North American Championship. There's going to be a lot of matchups to be looking, like I said, forward to and storylines to follow. So again, I'm going to have more coverage for you guys later on next week. I'll be doing another wrestling take probably later on also as well. I'll be doing another wrestling take, so follow me for my SmackDown take. And then go ahead and make sure y'all like, subscribe, help make sure you go ahead and help put me on the algorithm. And then we'll catch you guys later.